Welcome back to the Horse Racing Show. We thank you for tuning again this week. Remember, you can follow us on Facebook, on iTunes. What else we got, Thomas Kenny? You can follow us on everything. Bunches of stuff.
We're on Twitter at Horse Racing Show.
Thank you.
We're on Instagram.
Oh, Instagram. I always forget Instagram. Thank you for reminding me. One. Okay, Instagram. We're on that. And then you can also follow us. We hope you do on YouTube. Subscribe and like us. So I got all that. One thing I know for sure is we always appreciate the support that we have received from Rood and Riddle from the start of this show to get us off the ground. That I remember. That's the important thing. Dr. Deborah Spike-Pierce is with us. She is the president and CEO now of Rood and Riddle. So finally, we got to the top. We've had all these veterinarians on, Deborah. Now we got to the top. You were the first female shareholder of Rood and Riddle in International Women's Month. That's a little bit of a trailblazer as well, right? We were talking to Julie Crone not too long ago about being a trailblazer.
Well, thank you. Yes, it's I graduated from vet school in '93, worked with my father at a Standardbred racetrack for a year, and then I came to Rood and Riddle as an intern in '94 and never wanted to leave. I mean, I learned so much. It was a great experience, and then I was fortunate enough to then have 3 years with Dr. Larry Bramlage, which I know you spoke with.
Oh, yeah, we know Larry well.
Yeah, so spent 3 years with him and then moved to the ambulatory department. And in January of 2018, I became the CEO.
Wow. You got business cards and everything now, huh?
I do.
That's what they always give me, business cards in lieu of raises. Here, you get a new business card.
There you go.
I've got a lot of those. Was it different 20-some years ago as a female vet? Was that a big deal? I mean, I know a lot of female veterinarians, so I don't know if that was if it was different for you starting out in still what's pretty much a man's game, I guess.
It really wasn't different for me, and I think a lot of it is whether or not you're a horse person.
Right.
You know, I mean, I grew up with a lot of horses and race horses and show horses, and so I was a horsewoman, and I never had the problems that I would have a lot of people say, you know, isn't that tough? You know, how do you do that? And it's not been a problem. You know, obviously I'm not a very large person. I'm rather short. So I would have a lot of people ask me, you know, physically, how do you do that? And that's not a problem either. I mean, especially in Lexington, Kentucky, you have so many great horsemen that are handling your horses. I don't worry about getting hurt, and I mostly deal with legs. So, hey, I'm closer to that.
Yeah, well, I don't know a man vet either that's going to pick a horse up, okay? It's not like you're going to carry the person over to the operating table. No. You're not going to lunge and put 1,400 pounds on your back.
I agree.
Legs, so important. I mean, for any athlete, it seems like leg and back injuries for human athletes are ones that, knee injuries especially, can end a career or shorten a career. With horses, it can be a life and death situation with a leg injury. That fascinates a lot of people that maybe are just casual fans of the sport, how quickly something can happen with a horse's legs. How come? It's just the makeup of the body?
It's the way they're built. Absolutely. Look how big the body is and how small the legs are.
It doesn't look right, does it?
No.
If you really step back and study it just from a layman's point.
And if you look at it, I mean, really, in a horse's leg is really your middle finger, which is a little scary.
That is.
You know, because I watched Dr. Bross's show, and he was talking about how the foot is really like your fingernail, and it is. So, I mean, there's a tremendous amount of body, and obviously, you know, these years we're breeding more for speed, and you have they need light frames in order to be real fast. So there's a lot that needs to bear on their legs. So
you're going to be busy with looking at xrays coming up at all the sales, right?
I don't do all the sales anymore. I just do the first week of September and Tattersalls. One to Tattersalls.
So you're still going to be busy looking at a lot of xrays.
Oh yeah. Yes.
What is is there something that jumps out immediately on an x-ray of a leg of a horse that's going to be sold that thousands, maybe millions of dollars might be involved in? Is there one or two things that you look at immediately on an x-ray?
Well, you look at everything.
Okay.
You know,
I didn't mean that you wouldn't be thorough. I know.
No, I know.
Dr. Spike-Pierce is thorough. I did not mean to imply that at all.
No, but it's a systematic process, and you're looking at every single view that's taken on these specific joints that the repository has, which are the fetlocks, knees, hocks, stifles. And so it may not be everything that you would look at if you were looking at a racehorse. This is more of a screening, and in young horses, because they haven't been training yet, they don't have the same lesions typically that you would see as a racehorse. They have more developmental problems such as OCDs and maybe chip fractures that happen when they were a foal. And, these are things that we're looking at to see, could these be issues in racing? And if so, can we do something about them? Can we not? What are your risks?
Yeah. So. And one of the most famous of that, obviously, is a recent Triple Crown winner, Justify.
Yeah.
When they looked at Justify, and it's OCD, right?
He had one, yeah.
And so, well, I don't know. It's not going to be, obviously, he's not going to end his career, but hedging a little bit. That's why he sold for $500,000 instead of probably the $1 million horse,
It gave some people concern, which that's a lot of what we do is try to, look at all these different things and figure out what causes issues, what doesn't, what degree of issues does it cause, and then help people determine a value that they're going to set on the horse for them to bid.
And for people that wanting me to explain the OCD, that's never going to happen. So I shall ask you, the expert, doctor, what is the OCD exactly? We've talked about it before in the past, but if someone's just tuning in and obviously would recognize the name Justify.
Well, an OCD is osteochondritis dissecans, and the dissecans actually means that there's a piece or a fragment associated with this. And this happens in developing horses and young horses. Horses grow extremely fast compared to us. And what happens is there's not blood supply to a certain area of the bone, and maybe it's because it was traumatized. OCD, the disease itself is multifactorial. It could be genetics, can be nutrition, can be trauma. So we can't specify one thing that causes it, but we know what causes the reason that it happens is a decrease in blood flow to an area that doesn't continue to mature as the rest of the skeleton does, and we get a fragment.
Yeah, and as we've seen, obviously that does not mean the career is over.
Oh, absolutely not.
It doesn't mean that this horse will not ever make it to the track, much less win a Triple Crown.
Right, but it's something that probably needs to be taken care of.
Is there a big difference in looking at a Standardbred and a Thoroughbred, a young Thoroughbred Standardbred leg? Is it a big difference at all?
There really isn't. They have different lesions. Like the stifle OCDs are not as common in the Standardbreds as they would be in the Thoroughbreds. Now, hock OCDs are extremely common in Standardbreds. And we see a lot more plantar P1s, but you don't see as many dorsal P1 chips that you see in the Thoroughbreds.
I love it when you get technical like that.
Oh, sorry.
There's some guy driving along right now listening to us, they're going, of course.
Okay.
No, just
Well, you have a lot of racing people in here, so they would.
We do. We have
listen.
racing people listen to this, yeah.
But you see a lot of the same lesions, but maybe just different percentages of them.
Basically, I guess it's in human terms, it'd be like, I guess we got a little bone chip somewhere. It's not going to mean we can't get out and walk or go for a jog.
Absolutely.
Is that too simple?
No, it's not at all.
I'm pretty simple. I did not go to Michigan State. I'm doing the best I can here. I didn't get a cheer at Michigan State. Okay, Deborah, I told you I wasn't going to mention that, but I'll ask you. I'll ask you this, doctor. What's it like being around all those Ohio State people? Well, everybody at Rood Riddle apparently went to Ohio State, but you.
Oh, that's.
I mean, not everybody. It seems like everybody on here. Raul's about the only one we had. Did he go to Ohio State? I don't know.
I think he did.
Yeah, I think everybody
did. I think he did.
You're the
no. Dr. Emerson went to Michigan State.
Well, okay, all right.
There's a few of us.
So you got two Spartans.
I think we have more Spartans.
Really, around all those Buckeyes. I bet that makes it for some interesting discussion.
Oh, yeah, not too bad because really we're against Wolverines, not so much the Buckeyes, but.
Yeah, you could never have a Michigan guy come in, could you?
No, because there's no vet school there.
Well, see, even if he graduated, he was undergrad at Michigan.
Sure, we wouldn't
want him around those. You
that.
have Buckeyes, you have Spartans. I don't know. They'd have to lie, wouldn't they? They couldn't tell you they went to Michigan.
Oh, they could tell you. It'd be some good conversation, especially right now.
I bet it'd be interesting. So when you go to the sales and you're looking at these X-rays, be it the Standardbred or be the Thoroughbred, we're talking with Dr. Deborah Spike-Pierce from Rood Riddle. But so, Deborah, when you go look at these, how much are you looking at right away? I mean, how quick is the turnover? Do they, I want to see this now because I may buy this horse, tonight or tomorrow or something. Is it a pretty quick turnaround on the X-rays that you already have?
In the Thoroughbreds, actually, most of the sales have repositories where everybody has films on file of the horses that they're
already
selling.
There when you go in.
Absolutely. So it's a very quick turnaround. So it's there. You can just sign up to look at them and look at the films right then and there. Standardbreds don't have that. So in that situation, you'd be going and X-raying the horses and then viewing them typically, which is usually a day. Yeah.
And president and CEO of Rood Riddle now, what else does that entail as far as your day is concerned?
Well, my day's in the office now, so it's managing people, really. It's a lot of just making sure things run right. And, we have a lot of superstars, so that's always makes it fun.
Deborah, how are those superstars to handle? Are they easy to handle?
They are. We have great people.
Yeah,
we have
you really
really,
do.
really great people to work with, and everybody's for the same goal,
Yeah.
which is do the best we can for the horse. So it's a great place to be.
Well, thank you so much, and thank Rood Riddle for their sponsorship. We really appreciate their faith that this show might actually have some legs, pun intended, to keep going. Deborah Spike-Pierce, who is the president and CEO. Thank you, Doctor, for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
We'll be back with more and find out what is going on in Santa Anita. Ron Anderson, the super agent for the jockeys, will join us. Stay tuned here on the Horse Racing Show.